Hey everybody, this is Javi, and you are watching the Bowtie Psychic on YouTube. Let me get some. Um, let people know that I am on here. I know that I told people that I was going to be on, so let me get this done real quick. Sorry if I'm just like on here. Let's see here. Let people know that I'm on live. But basically, for those who are just tuning in, you are listening to, or not listening, but watching the Monday Night Special segment. It used to be on YouTube and Instagram. No, it wasn't on YouTube. It's on YouTube now, but it used to be on Facebook and Instagram. And because I was like dealing with different devices, I decided like, look, I might as well just go ahead and put it on one thing, and here we are. So what? Hey, there's a few people who are coming in now. Um, I don't know why, but it's being. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. Hey, what's going on? Thank you. So, for those who are just coming in, this is the Monday Night Special, and the Monday Night Special segment consists of it consists of this: me doing a one card reading for the collective, and then us having a discussion, about trauma, anything from trauma to healing, um, like pretty much anything pertaining to like healing. We talk about, and I use the cards doing it, and whatever message that spirit comes up with, that's what I'm working with, and yeah, that's how it is. So what I'm going to end up doing, for some reason, I'm not able to get on Facebook at all, but what I'm going to end up doing is doing a one card reading for the collective first. Then I'll be doing like a new moon message reading. Um, and then if folks are led to, there are $20 mini readings that you can take advantage of as well. And so that's just how it is in a nutshell. So basically, what I'm going to do is do a one card reading for the collective real quick. And and whoever just popped on, by all means, let me know who's here so I could just say hey. Right. Ooh. So what we got here, as far as the one card reading for the collective, is the Ace of Cups. I love this card because it talks about inner peace. Your peace is coming at last, is what I'm getting. Okay, a lot of you are doing work, especially with the new moon energy coming through. A lot of you are taking full advantage of the energy by doing rituals, by doing all kinds of things. Hey, how are you, Sarah? How are you? It's been a long time. How you doing? So basically, what we're getting here is that, how are you doing? I'm doing all right. So basically, what I'm getting, for those who, let me put this up real quick, is the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is basically a card that says a lot of us are arriving to our peace. A lot of us are working towards our peace. A lot of us are being asked to consider our peace when we're doing this work, because we're not doing it for no reason. A lot of the release work that we're doing. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on, Michaela? Just so you know, we just got the Ace of Cups here, and I'm doing a one card reading for the collective. So basically, we are literally being told to like go for our peace, go for our peace is within us, and it's within our birthright to have this peace. A lot of folks are going to be doing a lot of growing when it comes to this new moon energy. A lot of people are going to be doing a lot of growth and a lot of prosperity, emotional growth and prosperity maybe basically you'll be doing a lot of prosperity, emotional and mental and spiritual prosperity, which will lead to having monetary success if you so choose to do that. But basically, you're being told that, look, this is our time. The piranhas that are at the bottom, that's the I consider piranhas very not exactly dangerous animals at all, but they are ones that basically gobble things up, tear things up. And so what's happening is that a lot of the water that's they're in water. So a lot of that is them, you know, not only thriving but basically tearing away at your like tearing away at peace, tearing away at the trauma that you went through, tearing it to pieces, tearing it up, and you're overcoming that. Okay, a lot of this is what you have been dealing with. Okay, the piranhas, the drama, the trauma, and now, but you're rising above this. Okay, you're rising above that. I love YouTube. I love YouTube. I love doing live videos too. The reason why I chose to do Monday Night Show on YouTube is because it will bring everyone together. I'm not using two different screens, and it's just better. It's a lot better. So I'm glad that you noticed that. Thank you. So basically, that's the reading in a nutshell. Um, like the Ace of Cups is such a powerful tool, especially is I'm just getting a lot of Pisces energy, a lot of water energy that's coming from that Cancer, Pisces, um, and I want to say Scorpio as well. Scorpio is also a water sign, just simply because we are being told to like release and let go, of our whatever emotion that is basically holding us back in some way, shape, or form. Our shadow self is pretty much coming into effect. And so while we're going through the growing pains, while we're going through this, allow yourself to be emotional, allow yourself to release a lot of that toxicity, or at least the toxic messages that in order for you to be strong, you have to be stoic. That's not the case at all. That's not the case at all. Okay. So if you resonated with that message in any way, shape, or form, yeah, I'm just getting from spirit like it's time for, this is about us getting our power. This is also about us getting our emotional and mental capacity together. There's going to be some everlasting peace because of the work and all this stuff that's coming up. Okay. So if this resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, by all means, hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your subscription, Sarah. I really appreciate it. Also, let people know that I'm here. Share the video. Share the link in your on your pages, on your social media pages, Facebook, Instagram. Let people know that I'm here, and let people know about the videos I have on here, because the more people I reach, the more you know of the message that will get out. So thank you so much for your support ahead of time. So let's us get started. Let me try Facebook one more time, because I feel like, how is everyone doing, by the way? I'll be reading while I am doing, let's see here, because sometimes Facebook takes a long time to do stuff. Just want to let you know that I am letting people on Facebook know that I'm here. So we'll see. Um, we'll see. All right. I'm good. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm a little tired, but I'm okay. It's still being wonky on Facebook. Hey, what's going on, Fire? What's up? All right. So I just did the intuitive message, or not the intuitive message, but the one card message, and we got via the Ace of Cups, which is a very powerful card about getting peace, finding peace. You know, a lot of people are doing their work, so a lot of people are taking advantage of this moon energy. And speaking of this new moon energy, does anyone, before I get started with the card messages, does anyone have any questions or comments or anything? So you have the chance to get a $20 reading, a mini reading, just so you know. But yeah, like this new moon energy is extremely powerful, y'all. It really is. And this is a time for us to talk about, it actually gives us the time to talk about the shadow, like our shadow self. And I talked about that today and during another live when I was for actually came up for Leo. The new moon energy in Scorpio is extremely powerful, just simply because it is now focusing on our shadows. It's focus allowing us to focus on our shadow self. And when we're able to do that, we're able to see parts of ourselves that we are not liking, or some parts of our subconscious mind or unconscious mind that is popping up into our actions. And now we're being faced with a lot of things and a lot of people, places, and situations that we thought that we healed from, and now those things are coming back in a way to haunt us and to remind us of some of the work that um, either some of the work that we are still having to do, or reminding us of what we have not healed from. Okay, there's a lot of people who are having exes come back into their life, like come into their lives. You know, things are falling apart as far as jobs, as far as your emotional state. There's so much going on. Even like where a lot of people who are very ashamed of 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 letting go of certain things or facing certain things. Now that stuff is coming up, right? And so the new moon, especially in the month of October, is not surprising at all, because the month of October is a month of renewal. Number 10 is a number of renewal, of pretty much starting over, and basically starting over from scratch. In some aspects, is basically about us resetting. And so what's ended up happening is that because we are being called to be reset, you know, as far as our life and as far as whatever's going on, you know, to make us better, our shadow self has to have a part in that. And our shadow self is a part of us that we really don't like looking at. Okay, we don't like looking at that stuff at all. Okay, the reason why is because one of the reasons why we don't like looking at our shadow self is because of that shame. Depending on what we did, and depending on what, you know, we said, or how we treated somebody, or how we, you know, behaved in some way, shape, or form, there's a part of us that wants to tuck that away. Okay, there's a part of us that don't want to look at any of that stuff. Okay, we don't want anyone else to find out about it, because there's still a lot of us who are deeply afraid of how other people are going to perceive us. Okay, um, I did a if I know today, I did a reading for Leo, and I don't remember a lot of what I said, because like all that stuff is comes from spirit. But what I definitely remember is the fact that for Leos anyway, Leos are being told, you know, whether it be sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, or Venus, that in order for them to grow, they are to look at their shadow self, and like not look to other people to validate them. So that is what we are being told overall. That basically, in order for us to grow as people, we cannot allow ourselves to take our past and shove it away. It's not going to happen. And in order for us, in order for the collective, or those who are meant to resonate with this message, in order for us to move on, to to receive abundance, like true abundance, not temporary abundance, like true abundance, like and see our inner power and see our inner strength, our shadow self is going to show up. And we're not to see it as ugly. We're not to see it as something to be ashamed of. A lot of light workers that I've seen, I think over the years, are just like they are very much afraid of looking at their own stuff, right? And this is not like a positive only type of vibe. A lot of people are afraid, a lot of spiritual people in particular are afraid of getting their hands dirty. They're afraid of getting their hands dirty and doing this positive vibes only type of thing. The thing is though, I understand positive vibes, I understand love and light, but in order for you to get to that point, in order for you to get to that level, you are to be balanced out by your shadows. Without darkness, there will not be light. And people then look at their shadow self as if it's something evil. And when you look at your shadow self that way, you're literally rejecting a part of yourself. I want to say that one more time. When you reject your shadow self, you're rejecting your light. You're rejecting yourself. You're rejecting a part of yourself that is extremely important in order for you to see reality for what it is. You are to see reality for what it is, your reality for what it is. You cannot and will not grow without your shadows. You cannot and will not grow if you're not reminded of your humanity, of your humanness. Okay? It's okay for us to be a part of the woo woo. You know what I mean? The woo woo meaning like the magical world, the spiritual world. It's okay for us to do that. If you want to do that, cool beans, do you. YOLO. But what I'm telling you is that in order for all of us to elevate and grow spiritually, to evolve as spiritual beings, we are to look at our darkness, our higher self, okay, and our shadow are go hand in hand. If you have you ever seen the show Good Omens with Neil Gaiman? That's what that is like, the angel and the demon. Okay, I wouldn't even consider your shadow self a demon, but there's darkness there nonetheless. In order for and these two main characters, one's an angel, one's a demon, and they're both friends. They've been friends for a millennia. That's how you are supposed to be with your shadow self. Okay, that's how you're supposed to be with your shadow self. Without your shadow self, you are not even a whole entity. You understand? You know what I mean? Like you're not a complete entity without your shadow self. So we're going to get into these cards to see what what we have to say about our as far as the new moon. Now, the card that I'm going to pull, the first card represents the collective, or those who are meant to hear this message. How is everyone doing? Does anyone have any questions? All right. Dear higher spirit, what messages? What messages you have for the collective in regards to the new moon energy and the shadow self? What messages do you have in regards to the new moon energy and the shadow self? I pray that you connect me to the mind, body, and spirit of those who are meant to hear this message, spirit, and connect me to the heart chakra of those who are meant to hear this message. I call upon my ancestors not only from this lifetime, all right, not only from this lifetime, but for that of many others, different dimensions, alternate universes, and my extraterrestrial ancestors, the highest and the best of my ancestors, not only from this lifetime. Thank you. Oh wow, okay. Just, okay. Just want to make sure. All right. All right. So the Queen of Pentacles, and before I even get started, um, the none of the cards are gendered. Energy is not gendered at all. So this reading can be for anyone of any um, gender or sexual orientation. Okay. And so what I got here, as far as this, is the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. And the Queen of Pentacles is one who cares about the resources, cares about their money and where it's going, where their energy is going. Okay, and this is what the collective is. The Queen of Pentacles is the card that represents the collective. Okay, there's a lot of y'all, who is very much money oriented, resource oriented. Okay, which is not a bad thing at all. Okay, and what I'm getting from the Queen of Pentacles is that a lot of you are to watch your spoons, watch your money, watch how you how you perceive money. Okay, she's taking care of it, and so you're being told to take care of yourself. Okay, that's what this card is saying. Yeah, the energy I'm getting from this card is a very feminine energy around cradling resources. So what this card is basically saying is that the Queen of Pentacles, are those who connect with this energy. You give so much of yourself to people. You give so much of yourself to people, give so much of yourself to the collective. Okay? A lot of people who who are active in the community. My mind is just people who are active in the community, people who are active, in their homes, people who are active, anywhere. You are seen as someone who people go to for resources. Okay, so you're literally, what I'm getting is that a lot of your power stems from giving. A lot of your power stems from giving. Okay, you're also being told, yeah, I'm just getting that a lot of you are tired too. A lot of you are tired, and a lot of you are anxious about money. Anxious about time, and anxious about not having enough resources. That's what that card is coming from. So that is who we are as the collective. We are the Queen of Pentacles. A lot of us, I'm just getting to that. A lot of us are drained. A lot of us are being drained. Okay. I also have the King of Pentacles. Okay. And the King of Pentacles is one who is very abundant, always about abundance. Okay. Always about having a plan in regards to resources, namely money. And what I'm getting is that a lot of you are wanting to be abundant. A lot of you are wanting to be abundant. It's no surprise at all that with the new moon, people are looking for resources. People are manifesting resources. So that's what, okay, a lot of people are manifesting resources. Okay. Not only are you manifesting resources, but you know that sooner or later you're going to have those resources. A lot of you are using that new moon energy for that. But what's happening, okay, what's the obstacle here is the Hierophant. I'm just getting that a lot of you are very rigid in planning, very rigid, and because the Hierophant is basically like about order, law, religion, dogma, um, controlling people with that dogma. And what I'm getting is that a lot of y'all are using your manifestation energies in a way you're like you're controlling energy, but you're doing it in a way that's very rigid. You're dissatisfied with what you're getting. You're dissatisfied with how things are turned out are turning out. You're very dissatisfied with where your life is right now. And so you're just using your energy to just manifest, 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 manifest. This new moon energy, though, is not about just manifestation. The new moon energy that's in Scorpio, your shadows are coming out, and those shadows, and you not looking at those shadows, could be the reason why you feel stuck. And you're, I'm just getting to with that or with those cards that is very rigid. Your practices, your spiritual practices are just very like focused on money and abundance. And spirit is basically saying like this is not the time to focus on that primarily. See, when people think of the moon, they don't think of um, the subconscious thinking and how your subconscious thoughts or unconscious thoughts plays a huge part in how much you're going to manifest, how powerful your manifestation spells are going to be. The way you think about yourself, how you think about yourself, plays a huge part in abundance. It plays a huge part in how you're going to receive. Okay, that's why it's so important to look at your shadows first, to be friends with your shadow self, because your shadow self, until you look at it, until you look at all that stuff that is presenting to you, it's going like all those shadows, all that stuff that you're like keeping inside of you, all that darkness or what you consider darkness is going to prevent you from being the person that you would like to be or have the life that you would like to live. Passive manifestation, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of passive manifestation. Um, but yeah, like it's stuff like if I'm not mistaken, passive manifestation is something that you that's something I need to look up. But what I'm getting from it is that you get stuff, you're like passive manifestations when you just get a little bit of what you're looking for or a little bit of what you're manifesting. Okay, without looking at the cause of why you're just getting a little bit of stuff. And on top of that, that's not what that's there for. Okay, the new moon is basically not just about manifestation. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of The Secret. That's why I don't like The Secret. I don't like that book at all. I don't like it. The reason that is because when it comes to manifestation, it doesn't talk about you looking at your shadows at all. It doesn't talk about you growing as a person. It literally considers the universe a shopping mall. Well, all you have to do is switch your thoughts into something positive, and all of a sudden you start to manifest and get all this stuff. That's not how this works. In order for you to get the type of life that you are looking for, you are to do the work, the spiritual work necessary, and that means looking at yourself. Looking at yourself. I remember, okay, Fire, not to put you on blast or anything, but I remember you talked about the fourth step. the fourth step in Alcoholics Anonymous, where you write about all of the things or put down, like list all the things that you have either that's done to someone else. Okay. Because and sooner or later you have to make amends to that person. That's shadow work. That's shadow work. Where you're looking at what you've done to somebody else. That's why when it comes to the Hierophant, what I got from this card straight away is that you are, yeah, because I remember you saying that, and I found that to be very interesting because that really is shadow work. Shadow work is basically you looking at your stuff, the stuff that is very unsexy, the stuff that's very unflattering to you. Because let's be real, all of us had some sort of toxic behavior. All of us have like done something dirty to somebody. All of us have done something to either cause someone harm mentally, emotionally, physically, emotional manipulation, sexual manipulation. That's a form of harm. Misgendering someone knowing full well what we were doing, that's a form of violence. We've done like in some way, shape, or form, we have done something like that to someone. All of those things and more to somebody. And in order for us to literally, for me, I'm going to be honest with you, this is not about manifestation as far as getting stuff. It's not about that at all. In the year 2019, we are being prepared for the year 2020. And that means that in, some of us, I mean, a lot of us, those who are, doing the work already or being called to do the spiritual work and be out there with people and doing the work, out within our communities to help people, uplift themselves or to uplift the collective consciousness of the people. We have to look at our own stuff. We got to look at our own stuff. Okay, we can't say that, we can't say one thing and tell and encourage one people to do one thing when we're so about something else. We can't tell people, to be honest with themselves when we're not honest with our ourselves about our shit. You see what I'm saying? That's why we got the Hierophant card too. A lot of us are like, and I'm not saying all of us, but a lot of us, unfortunately, have gotten to this loop of being hypocritical about what we're doing, especially if we are working with other people. We're literally using our power and using this dogma, using some sort of dogmatic ideology around spiritualism or around about life in general to fool ourselves and to basically control folks, to control their narrative or control something. And so we're being told to do our own shadow work so we don't become so rigid in our spirituality to the point where we are becoming very hypocritical. Okay? Because we're much more better than that. We're way better than that. We are way better than that. That's why, and plus, I'm just getting a lot of heartache around people who are watching this. A lot of heartache around this. A lot of people are really, really are ashamed of who they used to be, whether it involved trauma or not. I'm getting that people are ashamed of looking at some part of their past, and I get it. There are some parts of my past that is not really sexy at all. I've done some dirty shit to people. I've done some dirty shit to people. I've hurt people myself. But I'm being called to look at that and to do it without shame. Like it hurts, and I get it. but it keeps you from being rigid in your spirituality, because now you'll be able to relate to people's pain, and you'll be able to relate to people's pain when you look at your own shadows. That's why we got this right here, the Eight of Cups. We got this before. We got this card before, when earlier today when I was doing this live. This is about spiritual rituals, um, continuing the ritual, and possibly like letting go of something. That's what we're doing. This is the time, the new moon energy. This is the time for us to use that to let things go. This is not just about manifestation. This is about letting things go. Our shadows can be our friends when we are using it correctly. Our shadow self is only here. It's a part of us. It's only here. It only exists to show us what we have to continue to work on, to keep us from being egomaniacal to the point where we are really thinking that we are better than somebody else. We're better than somebody's struggle. And because we are above somebody else's struggle, that somehow we are um, we're untouchable, or we're above reproach when we mess up. Our shadow selves will basically tell us to go somewhere and sit down. I'm being for real. Like, don't like it will definitely keep you to not to shame you, but to basically like let you know, like, look, you did the same thing that person did yesterday. You did that last week. Your shadow self would be like, no, no, don't slut shame that person where you were out here sliding into somebody's DMs last night. Don't talk about somebody else's struggle when you were out here struggling last night. Our shadow selves keeps us humble. And that's what this card is basically saying. When you do your shadow work, you're able to let things go, and you'll be able to relate to people. You'll be able to relate to their struggle and where they're coming from, because that's exactly what we are here to do. We are here as a collective. We're called a collective for a reason, right? We're called a collective for a reason. We are interconnected. We're very connected. My struggle is someone else's struggle. If I can't relate to it, I know someone else does. But we are not to judge each other harshly to the point where we forgot who we are. No, we can't. We can't be the Hierophant to the point where we are judging people and judging people harshly, especially if they're not where a lot of us are spiritually. Just because someone else is not on that spiritual grind, that spiritual hustle, does not mean they don't deserve the respect and kindness that you would show somebody who was. Looking at like our shadow self keeps us in a place of humility. We got the Lovers card. We got the Lovers card right here. And so basically, what I'm getting from this card, this is usually about, if it were right side up, it would be about a union, interconnection, finding somebody. But what I'm getting from this is that a lot of, I'm just getting that there when it comes to the shadow self, is that a lot of us are, like I said before, very afraid of our shadow self, to the point where we don't feel like there's no interconnection between you and your shadow self. There's no interconnection between you and the things you don't like about yourself. And when there is no interconnection between your light and your dark, you don't respect that in someone else. I'm just getting that a lot of that comes from an intense an intense level of shame. Our shadow self is not here to hurt us. Our shadow self is not here to put us in harm's way. Our shadow self is here to make us better. Our shadow work is extremely important. The reason why you're seeing your exes, the reason why you lost that job, the reason why you got into that argument with your mama, the reason why there's so many changes going on in your life is because they were meant to happen, so you can have the wherewithal to look at that and say, like, what is going on here? What is the lesson here? I truly believe that things happen for a reason, even if those reasons don't even have anything to do with us or we had nothing to do with it. I truly believe that. I truly believe that things happen so better things can come through. A lot of things happen to us, but it's about our reaction to it. I was at a friend's house not too long ago, just hanging out, okay, and somebody, their housemate, was going out with their significant other, and someone was picking them up, and so the person that went to go pick up this housemate's friend turns out to be an ex lover of mine. They don't know that I transitioned. They don't know anything about me. I remember though that I was toxic as fuck around this person, and they were toxic towards me. I had to remind myself that that's a part of my history that I would have to look at. The fact that I was a toxic person, sweet me, little old self, you know, I was still, even before, like way before my transition, I was a hot mess. I was very toxic towards other people, very toxic when it came to relationships with other people. There's still a part of me that's actually very ashamed of how I acted. But I choose not to have that sit within me. It does not, and there was a reason why I saw this individual. If they didn't come, someone else was going to be there. I've like since Scorpio happened, or the new moon happened, or the Scorpio season became to be. There's been a lot of people who have showed up in my past that I'm more likely to make amends to, or be okay with the fact that I'm not going to get an apology out of them, and that's all right. But if I didn't, if that type of stuff didn't happen, okay, if that type of stuff didn't happen, then I don't know where I'd be. People, places, and situations pop up in your life or resurface into your life for a very good reason. And just be aware of your reaction to it, because that's definitely your shadow self saying, like, look, there's some. If your reaction will determine whether or not you are to work on that. Is that if that's something you have to revisit on a level, that you and your shadow self will have to discuss. Your shadow put that person, place, and situation in your life for a reason, and your growth depends. It really depends on how you react to it. How do you feel when when someone from the past comes into your life? What goes on in your mind? I'm asking those questions. What goes on when someone comes into your mind? And I'm asking this question to those who are watching this. When someone comes into your life, that you've never been comfortable with, or someone or something that happened that reminds you or triggers you in some way, shape, or form, how do you react? What does your body say? What goes on in your mind? Right. And so Michaela says embarrassment. What brings on the embarrassment? Either you, I mean, and I asked that because some of us don't even know when we have a reaction. We don't even know how. We don't even have a name to it. We can't even put a name to it. We just know we feel uncomfortable. So let's name this right now. What makes it? What is it about this person, place, or situation that makes you embarrassed, or brought up that feeling of embarrassment, that reaction of embarrassment? And if it's something that you're not comfortable talking about, me trying to show others I'm worthy and manipulating my energy to make me on top of that makes sense. Yes, me trying to show others I'm worthy and manipulating my energy to make me on top. It all backfired on me though in the process, and that's what's embarrassing. But here's the thing, Michaela. You know now. You know now. That happened. That was your shadow self. That part of you that was trying to show others that you were worthy. That part of you that used energy or manipulated your energy. That was definitely your shadow self showing itself. Because deep down, you know that you're not that type of person. You're not that type of person. So now that you know that was it, you know, like the core reason around that. There's no need to be embarrassed anymore. You take power. That's another thing too. Like you take. Thank you for one. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for that. And the reason why I asked that question is because when you put when it starts to make sense, when you start to, you know, name it, describe it. Now you name the reaction, you describe it, and you know why and what happened and why you did it. Now you can do what's necessary to change that behavior, not to judge it, but to literally like change it, and to see your own worth, and to see your own strength. So you do not have to. So you're not you don't feel obligated to show people your worth. Okay, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Nothing to be embarrassed about. Now you can do the subconscious work necessary, the rituals necessary, writing things down and or talking about it or processing it. So some people verbally process it. I'm a verbal processor as well as a writer. You know, meditation is really important at this time because now you can start to meditate on why you had to feel as if you had to manipulate others, or why you act in such a way, because no problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. Thank you so much for sharing that, Michaela. That's what the new moon energy and shadow work is about. getting into the nitty gritty of your unconscious mind, because that what goes on in your unconscious mind, that's what drives your behavior, and it's usually coming from some sort of trauma, or some sort of some sort of trauma that was, brought to you, whether you're a child or a teenager. Those messages come from somewhere, they didn't come from you. This is so much the crux of new moon energy. It's not just about manifestation, it's not just about abundance. It's about you getting in touch with your shadow self, getting in touch with getting in touch with that those feelings and emotions that are coming up within you, coming bubbling up, and like energetically like coming out of you, whether it be sideways or direct, and embrace those feelings. Embrace them. Embrace them. And know that they are not, they're only a part of you. They're not who you are. They don't define you. Your light defines you. Your strength and that inner divinity, that defines you. But in order for you to get to that inner divinity, you are to be in love with your shadow self, because your shadow isn't bad. Your shadow isn't evil. Your shadow is not keeping you stuck. It's our reaction to it that's keeping us stuck. There is nothing wrong with our shadows at all. There's nothing wrong with our shadow self. They're just here to remind you of you getting off course. So let's see here. What is the solution? Because we talked a little bit about, we already talked about like the bridge, basically like what keeps us from um what keeps us from looking at our shadow. We already talked about this. Some people are very shamed and very um embarrassed, or feel as if, you know, no, your shadow is your friend. So we're going to ask Spirit about the solution. Spirit, what solution do you have for folks, for the collective, in regards to new moon energy and healing? All right. We got, oh, wow. So we have 3 cards here. Some of them I got beforehand. So basically, what we got here is the 6 of Pentacles. Now, the 6 of Pentacles is about giving what you have, giving resources, giving, what you've received, sharing. But what this card is basically saying is that it's okay for you to keep to yourself. It's okay to know that you cannot give from an empty cup. It's okay for you to keep a lot of your spoons and a lot of your pearls to yourself. A lot of us who are light workers, or those who are spiritually, um, who are connected to spirit in some way, shape, or form, and very empathetic, we have the tendency to want to give as much as we possibly can to other people. But what this is basically saying is that it's okay for you to step back and give to yourself, especially when it comes to your spiritual growth, especially when it comes to your shadow work. Not everyone is going to be pleased with you about you stepping back. Not everyone is going to be okay with you um, doing stuff for yourself. You cannot be bothered with those people. I'm just getting to like set boundaries. That's the solution too. Set boundaries. you're going to be around people or be like confronted with by confronted by people who are going to cross your boundaries, or at least attempt to anyway. You're going to have people from your past come at you, slide into your DMs, slide into your phone number, slide into, say some shit on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. They're going to say some stuff to you, whether it be directly or indirectly. You don't have to give them. And what this card is basically saying is that don't feed into it. Allow yourself to walk away. Also, like, I wish we didn't have to say don't, because that actually, like, when you say you're not going to do something, you're basically, that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to rephrase that. When I'm, instead of saying you're not going to deal with this person, basically what I'm saying is that it's okay for you to walk away from some bullshit. It's okay for you to walk away from a situation that is no longer serving you. It's okay for you to walk away from a person who is doing everything they can to work on your nerve. And they're doing it because they have not grown yet. It's okay for you to walk away from that person, place, or situation that is causing you harm. You owe no one nothing when it comes to your growth. When it comes to your spiritual growth, when it comes to your spoons, your pearls, your peace of mind. Listen, what card was this that y'all got beforehand? Let me see if I can find it again. It was the Ace of Cups? Yes, that's why we got the Ace of Cups. It's basically saying that your peace of mind is extremely important. That was the one card message. If you don't have the pearls or you don't have the spoons, just walk away. Okay? The solution is to also, as far as a solution to the new moon and getting in touch with your shadow work, is the basic, and that's another thing too. Before I even move on, that's your shadow. Uh, a lot of those shadow people, a lot of those people, that's your shadow. Like, that's your shadow, basically, like in a whole other form. Some people that come into our life, they actually, if you don't like them in some way, shape, or form, sometimes they're a part of your shadow self. Okay, so just be aware of that too. So you also have the Ten of Swords. This is ending, tragedy, something coming into an abrupt end. What this card is basically saying is that let things die. Let drama die. Don't keep like, to keep anything that is going to hold you back in some way, shape, or form, or bring up some arguments or bring up something. Don't feed into any arguments. Don't feed into anything that is going to disturb your peace. If you have to walk away, like I said, I'm just getting these two cards go hand in hand as far as you setting up a boundary and walking away, and just letting things. If they start to argue, just let things go. Let things go. I'm just getting to let things go because it doesn't really serve any purpose at this point to argue and bring up stuff or to hold on to things that don't work for you. One of the reasons I'm getting that for a lot of people, this is this cycle, this time around is extremely difficult. It's extremely hard because they allow things to happen, and they let fester. They let things manifest into something that they weren't ready for emotionally. There are people who are like, they're stuffing their emotions, stuffing them and stuffing them and stuffing them, and sometimes that's a trauma response when you don't want to, get into some sort of confrontation. There are people who avoid confrontation by saying nothing. But what ends up happening is that when they don't say anything, their anger comes out sideways. And so they just like things just fester to the point where it just becomes a huge blowout in some way, shape, or form. So basically, what this card is saying is that let go, like whatever is disturbing your peace, let it go. Whatever is disturbing your peace, let it go. Talk about it. Talk about it with someone. Talk about it with spirit. Talk about it with your ancestors. Ask your ancestors if there is some sort of confrontation. Ask your ancestors to 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 help you find the words to speak or to help you stand in your power, so it won't escalate into something that will harm you further. This is literally about taking your power back. And so there are people, you know, who are now getting into this phase and they're being pushed to the point. This is literally the tower phase for a lot of people because now you're getting out of your comfort zone of not wanting any sort of confrontation or some sort of change that will allow you to stand in your power or to look at some part of yourself that you're very uncomfortable with. There are people who are now freaking the fuck out because now they know. Sorry, I don't know who's watching, so I will watch my language. But basically, what I'm getting is that what's going to end up happening is that a lot of people are going to have a hard time because they've allowed themselves to stay quiet for so long. But this is also a blessing in disguise because now their shadow selves are just knocking them upside the head now and saying like, look, now you have to change. Now it's time to change. Now this is time for you to step into your power. Okay, which is why we got for as far as the solution, the last card is the Eight of Wands. We got this card before, Michaela, earlier today. And so what this card is saying is that allow yourself to fly, allow yourself to, don't be afraid. Allow yourself to soar. Allow yourself and you and your shadow self to do this work. What and not to do it by yourself either, because we're not alone. We're a collective. We're not alone. We're not alone at all. So basically, what this card is saying is that allow yourself to grow, allow yourself to prosper, allow your shadow self to take you to where you are meant to go. Allow your shadow self to help you see your flaws and to embrace those flaws so you can learn how to be relatable to people. You're not flawless. None of us are. And I'm pretty sure there is nothing that you have done. There's nothing you have done that's worse than the next person. A lot of people don't want to have to tell their story or to tell people about some part of themselves because it's too shameful. Our shadow self is saying all the time that there's nothing to be ashamed. No, it's actually um, our shadow self and our higher self saying there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be ashamed of. If there's any shame, that's because of us. It's not because of our shadows. It's not because of our shadows. Our shadows are basically saying, like, look, this is it. This is what happened. They're just showing you. They're basically, your shadow self is basically showing you what occurred. Our reaction to it is all us. That's why a lot of us are walking around with anxiety, depression, PTSD, not being able to speak, not being able to talk. And on top of that, our society, depending on what type of trauma you have been through, doesn't even give us the room to have these type of discussions about, sex abuse, death, um, some like car accident, like a car accident, paralysis, like don't no, we don't have those type of conversations because people want to be happy all the time. And when it comes to any sort of some sort of victimization, we're afraid we're going to be blamed for it. Depending on what happened, we are afraid of being blamed for it or being shamed or ostracized. The society has put that in our minds, so we get those messages as well. But you, by not telling your story and by not letting people in and not letting your shadow self help you grow, you're keeping your story from somebody else who will benefit from it. You're keeping a part of yourself that someone can relate to so you can get support. You're keeping yourself in silence and suffering. And that's not being fair to you. In fact, it doesn't make any sense. I guess what I'm saying is that don't allow society and don't let outside resources tell you in this time, in this day and age, that there's no one to listen to you because there's somebody who is waiting for your story to be heard. But in order for your story to be heard, you have to embrace your shadow. In order for you to grow, you have to embrace your shadows. So if you're going to do, and I will end with this, if you're ever going to do some sort of new moon ritual, don't just think about manifestation, but also think about um, your shadow self and how you can use that new moon energy to connect with your unconscious mind, who is your shadow self. That's your shadow. Connect with that and let the manifestation stuff happen naturally. Okay? On that note, that is all for Monday Night Special. I was so glad that we had this conversation. Thank you, Faya, for suggesting that I do this again. This actually made me feel a lot better. Um, and so that is the message that we have from Spirit. If anyone would like to have any sort of mini reading at all, it'll be $20. Other than that, like I could just head out, or we can still have a conversation. How does everyone feel so far? Like, let's keep the conversation going. How's everyone doing? Yeah, because I was like, no problem, no problem. Like I wanted to do a new moon. Um, oh, awesome! Thank you, thank you. I'm glad that you're doing better. I'm glad you're doing better. I'm also getting to like this is a time for, because you're letting go of a lot of things and there's a lot of emotions coming up. Yeah, there's no point. Your story is to be heard by somebody. Your story is going to help somebody, Michaela. Um, and also in the meantime, when you're doing all this letting go and getting involved with your shadow self, please take care of your body. Drink plenty of water. Get some sleep. Um, do something for yourself, to break away from the spiritual work, because that's not all we are about. Make sure that you're doing something fun for yourself. Netflix, if you're into Netflix, by all means do so. Go out with friends, have coffee, do something. This is not all of us are meant to be a hermit right now, or do the hermit type work as far as like spiritual work. Always take care of yourself. Brian says, thank you for doing this. Thank you for inspiring me to get back on here and do Monday Night Special. Um, yeah, I read that already. I'm doing better. This helped a lot. That's good. That's awesome. For those um, who are new to a Monday Night Special, I'm going to be here every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, let people know about it, um, and make sure that you put it in your calendar so you'll never forget. Um, and also, like I said, if you would like to have a mini reading, this is a time for you to get one for $20. Um, and you get a lot of information for $20 in those mini readings. So if you have like a question you would like me to ask or answer, excuse me, or a general question, um, let me back up one more time. Repeat that. If you have a um, a specific question or like a general reading, I can provide that for $20 during the live here. Um, so, or you can also give a donation too. That is something that I'm going to start doing. You know, in case people cannot, for whatever reason, afford the $20. So I will put all that information in the descriptions. But in the meantime, if you resonated with this, I see that people have, by all means, click that like button. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Bowtie Psychic channel so you'll never miss another video or another segment of Monday Night Special. Also, you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm having some issues with my phone right now. Not my phone, but my tablet. So if I'm slow in getting videos on my Instagram channel, that's why. Um, let's see here. You can also get a more in-depth reading by emailing me at bowtiepsychic@gmail.com. I'm almost done with my website. So once I get that together, I'll be able to give you that information as well. Um, I guess that's about it. I do know that, and I said this before, on November 1st or on the 1st or 2nd week of November, I'll be doing uh, my thing. On my Instagram is www.instagram.com. I'm the Bowtie Psychic. And I'll put that in the descriptions, but I'll put that here too. There you go. Also, I'll be doing my podcast, and so it's called For the Collective, and basically it's about is basically readings, is spirit readings, or spirit messages, weekly spiritual messages, and so I'll be doing the same format, you know, um, pulling a card for the collective, and then doing a reading around that card. You know, and I'm really excited about it. I'm looking very forward to it, just simply because I don't think it's ever been done before, as far as podcasts are concerned. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about this, and I'll definitely let y'all know. So yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about doing a Patreon as well for the Bowtie Psychic, and y'all will get so many good initiatives as well. So there's a lot that's going on. A lot is going on. So does anyone have any questions or comments uh, about anything that we talked about or anything of that nature? All right. So on that note, I am going to head out. Y'all have a good rest of the night, and until next time, peace.